Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He's Rogers. I'm Patrick. Hope everyone is doing well. The Netherton Show Coaches Caravan continues to roll, and we head down to Lake Charles to check in with Frank Wilson, the head coach of the McNeese Cowboys. Don't forget, coming up this week as well, we will chat with Lance Leipold of Kansas, old friend of ours, so we'll talk to him, and Willie Fritz of Tulane this week, and we're hoping to drop in a couple more as the week progresses. But down to Lake Charles, and Coach, how the heck are you, man?
Doing well, man. Right in the midst of this camp season, and very appreciative of you guys allowing us to be on. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I call games for Northwestern, so we get to see you guys twice this year, and I'm kind of curious. I want to start there. A very unusual schedule going on with the defections from the Southland Conference. Give us some indication of how that is, knowing that you're going to see a couple of teams twice this year in conference play.
I think it's cool. Honestly, you kind of look at the NFL format with divisions within a conference and an opportunity to play a team twice, to get to know them best. A first, to my knowledge, in college football, and so it'll be a unique year. I really do have a lot of admiration for our administrators, our conference officials. In the midst of it, usually there's a time span or a penalty or that you would go through for a year, 2 years, 3 years before the conference affiliates leave to go into the new conference, and that didn't happen with our case, and so we had to be creative. I commend them for doing so and allowing us to be able to play a full schedule. I'd much rather it than being gameless and in a time, as you know, with scheduling, it's 3 to 5 years out already, and so to find someone in the last minute was very challenging and difficult. So to be able to have a full schedule is something we look forward to.
Speaking of scheduling, you've got one of the more unique things happening this year, and Matt Bonnett's an old friend. He and I have known each other forever, back when he was at NSU and now at McNeese. And he's done some research, and apparently the last time a son played against his father in a college football game was John and Jack Elway back in 1981 or 2.
Wow.
You've got potentially Cody Orgeron facing his father at Tiger Stadium on September 11th. I mean, obviously, it's cool to be able to go play LSU. I'm glad that LSU does this and kind of rotates the various state teams in and through and keeps the money in state. But just from a standpoint, and you're a parent, just from a standpoint of having a kid be able to face his dad, that's got to be so. I just imagine that's got to be cool.
It is. Hey, maybe you have this answer for me. I'd be interested to find out. Who won that game between Jack and John Elway?
Jack actually did.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually beat Stanford like 3 or 4 years in a row when John
where was
there.
He at the time?
San Diego State. Oh, no, sorry, San Jose State. San Jose State.
And San Jose State beat Stanford.
Yes, multiple times.
I guess I can find a glimmer of hope in saying the underdog beat probably the team that was predicted to win.
I would
imagine Stanford was predicted to beat San Jose.
I would guess, especially with John Elway at quarterback. But that's to me that's such a neat thing, and what a cool storyline to have that happening.
It certainly is, and we a lot of history there. Father son, and he last year was unique for us in playing a spring season and to have Coach Orgeron at our games and the capacity of a father just there to support his son. And never once did he try to do more than what a parent would do. He was just there to love on and support his son, and it was endearing to see that. It was very sweet to see him there to support Cody during this time. And so we'll get a chance to see them in their stadium, a stadium that we're all familiar with. Cody has been back and forth there throughout his life, certainly the last several years since his dad have been there. Of course, I coached there. Chris Truex played there, and on and on and on. And so there's a lot of history there. We're honored to go play in Tiger Stadium and to run out for their first home game in several years with full capacity. is something we look forward to have 100+ thousand fans screaming and yelling, and give us an opportunity to go out and to play the best of our ability. And we look forward to it. It's a big, big deal for our university and something we're very grateful for.
I'm not entirely certain of the time period. So were you on LSU staff when McNeese came down and played the last time?
I did. I was. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we were.
I'm almost sure both times.
Yeah, Rogers Hampton, who's my producer, whose father, Rogers Hampton, is in the McNeese Hall of Fame as a football player. He and I went down to that LSU McNeese game, and McNeese basically won that game because they didn't lose and they got a check. So, I mean, that's as much a win as you can get.
That's right. We did win. The Cowboys won, baby. You better believe it.
Yeah.
Walk it down.
Hey, Coach.
You know, so one of my colleagues, one of my assistants, Jason Rollins, who's now the head coach of Southern in Baton Rouge, we were together in San Antonio, and he would bring it up all the time. And he's like, "You remember? You know we beat them." I was like, "All right, Jay, no big deal." Did you know what the score was before the? I don't even remember how long the game was. Did we play 2 quarters?
I think you got
a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think you got like halfway through the first quarter. Each team had a possession, I believe, and I don't think there was any score. And then the rains fell, and where it never rains, it came a giant thunderstorm that eventually, about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, they went ahead and canceled it.
I think we should go ahead and charge that W to the Cowboys. What do you think about that?
No, I think that is the short of actually winning the game, getting out of there, not having lost, and the check clearing is about as good a win as you can possibly get.
You better believe it. We'll take it.
Hey, by the way, in case you don't know, everything comes back to Northwestern State. Jason Rollins, former Northwestern State assistant. Chris Truax, former Northwestern State assistant. Just so you know, everything comes back to, of course, Matt Bonnet, former assistant at NSU as well. So it all comes back to the Demons. So we're talking with Frank Wilson, the head coach of the McNeese Cowboys. All right, Coach, let's go off the field a little bit because there were a couple of very large things that happened this offseason, COVID and the vaccine and name, image, and likeness. Let's start with COVID and the vaccine. You're dealing with kids that are adults. They can make their own decisions. They can decide for themselves. But I'm curious, what kind of conversations have you been having with the players in terms of vaccinating versus unvaccinating and the protocols that are happening?
Very touchy. It's a very, very touchy issue that some have very strong stance on it in one manner or the other. And so what we do is we educate them. We give them as much information that we can give them from our CDC, from our appointed officials who are liaisons between the state, the Center of Disease Control, and our university. And we just continue to educate them so that they can make sound decisions for themselves. For us, we're probably 50 plus, right at 50, a little bit more percent that have been vaccinated. There's some things that allow you to be a little more flexible in your daily approach if vaccinated, 85 plus percent. But certainly we're very respectful and sympathetic for those who, whether through moral or religious reasons or just ethical reasons, don't believe they want to take the vaccine. We respect that and we understand that. And so we just try to educate them as much as possible so that they can make an educated and not just an emotional decision.
Name, image, and likeness obviously is a big thing. Starting July the 1st, it went live. You're in an interesting scenario because you're in a town that has great support, also has pretty good financial ability when it comes to being able to support, but you're still reeling from a couple of hurricanes.
There you go.
You came in basically as the repairs started. Tell me about, I'm assuming there's some name, image, and likeness stuff available out there for the kids, but it probably is tempered a bit by there is still repair work and reconstruction going on down in Lake Charles.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful deal. We're excited to give our student athletes that type of opportunity to be able to profit of their name, image, and likeness. And so we have a little traffic going on, probably as not much as others due to the things that happened to us as a university.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, even this summer, for our high school camps that we would have on campus. That's usually sponsored by local officials and dignitaries and things of that nature, so that we could host our campus in Southwest Louisiana. It's hard to go ask those people for an in-kind, for a gift, when their roof was blown off, when they're helping others just to be able to leave shelters, and that those who are homeless and things of those nature. It's very challenging for us, and so we've tried to do all that we can do in respect to that, but allow us still to be all that we could be. And with that, we've still gotten support. Our university, our quarterback club, our petrochem club, our foundation has done an outstanding job of giving us the support that we need. But it is very difficult to ask for something like that when we're in the midst of all that we had to endure, and we're coming up upon another hurricane season, as we all know. And so, but nevertheless, we've still had people reach out to some of our student athletes and have worked some of the name, image, and likeness. So we're thankful for it.
You mentioned the people still recovering, and I come down there 3-4 times a year to call various sports, and I was, I continue to be amazed at how many blue tarps there still are out there, and how much, debris that there still is that hasn't been finished collecting, and how much stuff's still being redone and reconstructed, even now a couple of years out. I would imagine that's got to be pretty frustrating, because it feels like, at least in my opinion, it feels like everyone's kind of forgotten that Lake Charles had all of this happen to it.
Yeah, the tough thing about it is that it's hard to get workers, contractors, and people to come in. Even with COVID itself, whether it's car supplies, whether it's produce, whether all those things, it's challenging for us as a country, as a state, et cetera. With so much damage, it's very and people out of work and things of that nature. It's hard to be able to accommodate so many. And what people don't really realize, what was so devastating to South Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina, we were as, if not more, devastated from destruction of homes, of property, of commercial and buildings. We didn't have the casualties that they had in New Orleans because most of us evacuated. We were able to. We were fortunate enough to be able to evacuate. But as far as damage, it was devastating to our city. And so that road to recovery continues to be a challenging one, although we're making tremendous strides.
That's very good to hear. Talking to Frank Wilson, head coach of the McNeese Cowboys. All right, let's talk about your product on the field. We mentioned Orgeron, and he's been kind of your dual threat guy. Led your team in rushing last year, and also obviously passing. You got a couple of really nice threats on the outside. I know with the transfer portal and the 2,500, 3,000 kids that are on it, coaches are able to restock a little bit. Tell me a little bit about this roster and where you feel like you are as you get ready for fall.
I like our team. I like our development and where we're at right now. I do want to, Patrick, considering you're a McNeese guy. I'm sorry, Northwestern guy.
Rogers is a McNeese guy. I'm a Northwestern guy. Don't put me in there with a McNeese guy, Frank. We're not going to have that.
And so I wanted to compliment Frank, the Northwestern fan base and or should I say their athletic department came down like the rest of the Southland Conference and was outstanding and helped support us and serve us during that time in our greatest need. So a shout out and thank you to the Demons for their help during our time of greatest need.
I'll tell you this, Frank. This is the kind of stuff that I keep talking about. Is, Northwestern State has rivals. McNeese is one of its oldest and greatest rivals. And I would like to really hate people at McNeese. But the problem is it's all good folks. You're good folks. Matt Bonnett's good people. Like, I'd like to hate all of you because you're McNeese, but I can't. I can't hate Skip Holtz at Tech. He's good folks. You can't. There's too many good people in this league and around the state. It makes it impossible for me to generate the kind of hate that I would like to generate for rivals,
Yeah. You know what? We don't have that hate. we compete. We compete at a high level against a very worthy opponent, and but sincere to all the state universities and beyond, those in the state of Texas and neighboring states, and all across this region, this country, that came to our aid. For a time, Patrick, we, with no lights, no this, no that, there was no gas station you can go to or store you can go to.
Mm-hmm.
We relied strictly on the humanitarian efforts of people that came in with their barbecue pit hitched and their pots, and they cook and fed us for some time. We have no other way of eating, and that's how we survived. It was that dire at that time to be able to get a hot meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that for our state and our region, how grateful we are for that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's, again, when in times of crisis, we all pull together. That's one of the great things I think about where we're at. So on the field this year, give me some of the names that you expect to pop a little bit, some guys that we need to be looking out for.
Defensively, I think we're pretty good in the secondary. I think we have a couple of all-conference guys back there led by Andre Sam. Like Chris Joyce, one of our corners. Really like the camp Kobe Richardson is having, long, fast, athletic for us there. Our defensive line, our defense led by our All-American Isaiah Chambers, a defensive end who's the leaders in sacks, and we have a tremendous group that's up there, all four of them. And Mason Kinsey, the other defensive end, who was also an all-conference player. So, like our defense, offensively, we've gotten bigger, we've gotten stronger, and probably more athletic at the offensive line position. We signed 5 guys at the offensive line position. Signed another 3 high school and 2 transfers from the portal at the wide receiver position. Like those guys there, with the additions of C.J. Powell, Louisiana Tech transfer. Improved our running back room with Stephon Hutterson, transfer from Tulane University, their leading rusher a year ago. That's having an outstanding camp. And went to the well. That's been so good for us in Baton Rouge and San Antonio. So we went to Australia with our connection again to get us a punter who I think will really advantage us in flipping the field. So I think we addressed the needs of our football team. I think we have guys out there with Cody connecting with Mason Pierce and with Josh Matthews and those guys, a big target in Jamal Pettigrew and some of those guys at our tight end position, and just like where we are as an offensive line as well. So I like our team, and I like the strides that we're making.
Last thing, Coach, how has the transfer portal changed sort of roster building? Even at the FCS level, it feels like it's much more of a sort of a year-by-year build and less of a, hey, we need to recruit a whole bunch of high school kids and let them grow for 2, 3, 4 years.
The interesting thing about that is that when you have attrition that comes from upperclassmen, if you don't replace them with upperclassmen and you're waiting for that development of the high school kid, you could possibly put yourself in harm's way, because there's a development piece that goes with that. And so for us, we make our living recruiting high school student athletes. As we lose guys, which we have lost, we replace them, and we try to match or upgrade ourselves with veteran players to fill in those positions to give us the equity that we need within our roster. And so there's a method in our approach in recruiting, and a lot of it does include the portal. If we lost less in the portal, or there's not a need, we don't go to it. If we need immediate impact guys because we're very youthful at a position, we go there. If not, we go with the high school guy, junior college guy that can give us years of eligibility. Makes
perfect sense. Coach, look, I know y'all have endured a heck of a lot, and I'm not looking forward to calling a game from the end zone down at Cowboys Stadium, but I know what y'all have had to deal with and what you're facing, and certainly hope that everything kind of gets back to some sense of normalcy here before too long. I keep telling people, don't forget about Lake Charles. There's still a lot that needs to be done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, were you at the game last year when we played the Demons?
Oh yeah. I'm about to go in my 18th year as the voice of the Demons. So yeah, I was there. Y'all were the only team that actually put it on the Demons. It was you were the only ones that beat them by more than 8 last year. So feather in your cap.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go Cowboys, baby.
Yeah, Frank.
You got that, Roger?
Rogers is ready now.
Go Pokes, Coach. Go Pokes.
Yeah, he's ready. His daddy's in the Hall of Fame, so he's McNeese through and through. No doubt about it. But look, Coach, best of luck this year, obviously, except for 2 games on the schedule. And we obviously look forward to catching up with you here before too long.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having us.
All
Go
right.
Pokes.
Frank Wilson, head coach of the McNeese Cowboys.